राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। जीवने मरणे गति भार नाही मोर। जीवने मरणे गति भार नाही मोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। कालिंदीरा कुले तेली कदम्बेरा वना। कालिंदीरा कुले तेली कदम्बेरा वना। रतना बेदीरा परा मोसा बोधु जाना। रतना बेदीरा परा मोसा बोधु जाना। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। श्यामा गौरी अंगे दिवो चंदनेरा गंधा। श्यामा गौरी अंगे दिवो चंदनेरा गंधा। चामरा दुलाबो कबे तेरी मुख चंद्रा। चामरा दुलाबो कबे तेरी मुख चंद्रा। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। গাথিয়া মালাতে মালা দিব দোহার গালে, গাথিয়া মালাতে মালা দিব দোহার গালে, আধারে তুলিয়া দিব কর্পূরা তাম্বুলে, আধারে তুলিয়া দিব কর্পূরা তাম্বুলে, রাধা কৃষ্ণ প্রাণ মোরা যুগল কিশোর, রাধা কৃষ্ণ প্রাণ মোরা যুগল কিশোর, ललिता विशाखा आदि जटा सखी वृंदा, ललिता विशाखा आदि जटा सखी वृंदा, आज्ञाया करिब सेवा चरणारविंदा, आज्ञाया करिब सेवा चरणारविंदा, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेर अनुदास, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेर अनुदास, सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दास, सेवाभिलाषा करे नरोत्तम दास, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, जीवने मरणे गति आरो नाही मोर, जीवने मरणे गति आरो नाही मोर, जीवने मरणे गति आरो नाही मोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radha Krishna Prana Mora, Yugal Kishore, Radha Krishna Prana Mora, Yugal Kishore, Radha Krishna Prana Mora, Yugal Kishore. Om Gyantamidandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantaka. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langaite girim. Yat kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Ei mata kitana Prabhu Karila Katashana Apana Udyogena Chaila Bhakta Gana. The Lord performed Kirtan for some time and through his own endeavor inspired all the devotees to dance. So last week we saw this is the first description of Rath Yatra of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his devotees. After that, the description is not there, but similar dancing and similar ecstasies Mahaprabhu exhibited for the rest of the time he was in Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri at the age of 24, and for 6 years he traveled. But in between, he would attend Rath Yatras here and there. But last 18 years, he would continuously attend Rath Yatras. But the one of the Rath Yatra description of dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described here. And then it is described that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath, he divided devotees into 7 Sankirtan parties. Every party has a lead dancer, a lead singer, and 4 to 5 members who are followers, 2 Mridanga players, 2 Kartal players. So it's full of devotees. And there were 7 such parties, 4 in front of Lord Jagannath, 2 on the side, 1 behind. So the holy name of the Lord can be heard by Lord Jagannath. Actually, that is the purpose of Kirtan, is one must perform Kirtan for the pleasure of the Lord. And same, one must chant the holy name for the pleasure of the Lord, and one must do all kind of devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. And similar consciousness, even when someone is speaking in a temple, then one must know that, or one must have that feeling that Gopijana Vallabh is there, Radharani is there, and Mahaprabhu is standing there, and Nityananda Prabhu is there, and Prabhupada is there, and they are looking at all of us. and let me try to glorify them. Then that becomes a very personal relationship. So when if we can cultivate that mood of glorifying, just like it's just like we are sitting in a group, like just like previously we used to celebrate birthdays. So whoever birthday, everybody glorifies them. So the purpose of everybody speaking is so we can please the person whom we are celebrating. So likewise, this is the purpose of Krishna Katha. Is Krishna is listening and Mahaprabhu is listening, and I am trying to speak about him, so he will be pleased. And it's very simple concept, universal concept. If we speak some of the childhood pastimes or some of the childhood activities of any one of us, naturally we'll be very eager to hear, and we are very pleased to hear. So likewise, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna, Srimati Radha and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, they are very much pleased uh, when we glorify them, and they are there. Prabhupada also said that pictures are not different from the Lord, and also he's sitting in one's heart and he's sitting in between every atom, so he's everywhere. Uh, so the Lord is listening. So let me try to glorify him. This is what is called kirtan. And kirtan can be of the pastimes, kirtan can be of the form of the name, like what we just now did is kirtan of the name, glorifying the Lord's names. And now we are doing Leela Kirtan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, glorifying his pastimes. So they all come under Kirtan. Um, Apanina chitte yabe prabhura mana haila Shata Sampradaya Tabe Ekatra Karila. When the Lord Himself wanted to dance, all seven groups combined together. So there were different Kirtaniers in all the seven Kirtan parties, and they all came together because now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded and was dancing in all seven Kirtan parties, but then he wanted all of them to come together, like more the devotees. And this is the time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his Mahabhav, and we will see very deep ecstasy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited if we get to that place today. Srivasa Ramai Raghu Govinda Mukunda Haridasa Govinda Nanda Madhava Govinda. The Lord's devotees, including Srivas, Ramai, Raghu, Govinda, Mukunda, Haridas, Govindananda, Madhava, and Govinda all combined together. So basically, various um, singers, dancers, mridanga players, kartal players, followers, they all came together for one Sankirtan, and that is in front of Lord Jagannath. Udanda Nitya Prabhura Yabe Hailamana Swarupera Sange Dila E Nava Jana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to jump high while dancing, he placed these nine people in the charge of Sarup Damodar. And actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put all the devotees under the care of Sarup Damodar. And previously we saw in Gundicha Marjana, cleansing of the temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sarup Damodar, see what all your Bengali Vaishnavas have done. In that, Prabhupada says that all the devotees are under the care of Sarup Damodar. And Sarup Damodar is actually Lalita Sakhi in Krishna Leela. So he again brought all of them and he placed them under the care of Sarup Damodar. And Sarup Damodar was the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya, and he was also a sannyasi. These devotees, Sarup Damodar and the devotees in his charge, sang along with the Lord, and they also ran beside him. All the other groups of men also sang. So they were singing and others were singing. Mahaprabhu was dancing and they all were dancing. So Dandavat Kari Prabhu Yudi Du Ihata Urdhvamukhe Stuti Kare Dekhi Jagannatha. Offering the obeisances to the Lord with folded hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his face toward Jagannath and prayed as follows. So Dandavat, so Lord Chaitanya fell on the road and he offered obeisances to Jagannath. And then he raised his head and he looked at Jagannath and then he started praying to the Lord. So these are the prayers by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. नमो नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. And following the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada asked us to chant this prayer every time we um, greet the Lord. Even many devotees, when they come to temple, I mean, this is one of the prayer we chant while offering food, which is basically glorifying the Lord. And also when we pay obeisances and then we get up, then we may also greet Lord Gopijana Vallabha by these prayers. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahminical men. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, the Lord of all the Brahmanas, who is the well-wisher of cows and Brahmanas, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha, and who is always benefiting the whole world, Jagadhitaya Krishnaya, Jagadhitaya, who is benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead known as Krishna as Govinda, Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Namo Namo offering obeisances to Krishna and Govinda. And this is from Vishnu Puran. I'm sure everyone knows this prayer by heart. Jayati Jayati Devo Devaki Nandano So Jayati Jayati Krishna Vrishnivam Pradeepa Jayati Jayati Megha Shamala Komalango Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bharo Nasho Mukunda. So this is from Mukunda Mala Stotra. Prabhupada also translated this book. So these are, I mean, one of the reason this book is bona fide, Mukunda Mala Sutra, is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted a verse from this book when he was offering obeisances to Lord Jagannath. And the meaning, all glories unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Devaki. Devaki Nandanoso, who is son of, so Jayati Jayati means all glories, all glories, all glories. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the light of the dynasty of Vrishni. And Vrishni Vamsha Pradeepa. Pradeepa is light, or like the glory of the Vrishni dynasty. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily luster is like that of a new cloud. Jayati Jayati Megha, which is cloud. Shamala Komalango. Komal is soft, and Shama is like a new rain cloud. So whose bodily luster is that of a new cloud, and whose body is as soft as a lotus flower. Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bhara Nasha Mukunda. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this planet to deliver the world from the burden of demons, and who can offer liberation to everyone. Prithvi Bhar Nasho, basically the weight on Prithvi Devi, Mother Earth, which is the demoniac, the burden of demoniac, Nasho. He um, um, he removed the burden. And Mukunda means the one who gives liberation. So this is how, and this is very interesting that Mukunda Mala Stotra, the Vaishnavacharya who was from Sri Sampradaya, who write this, but in his prayer, he is actually glorifying Krishna. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the prayer from him and Prabhupada translated those prayers. They are actually, in Sri Sampradaya, also there are a group of people who are pure devotees of Lord Krishna. And they are called alvars, and there are others also time to time. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances, prayed to Lord Jagannath, and one is glorifying the Lord in various ways. Son of Devaki, the light of the Vrishni dynasty, like a new rain cloud, very soft like a lotus flower, who killed all the demons and removed the burden from the earth, and who is the giver of liberation to all. Oh my Lord, and then glorify. And then also he is the protector of Brahmanas and cows. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. And he is the maintainer of the whole universe. Jagadhitaya Krishna. And Krishna Govindaya Namo Namah. I offer my obeisances. So Mahaprabhu's mood, um, Jayati Jana Nivaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishad Swairdorbir Ashyan Adharmam Tirachara Vrijina Ghana Shushmita Sri Mukhena Vrajapuravanitānam Vardhayam Kamadevam Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishad Swairdorbir Ashyan Adharmam Tirachara Vrijina Ghana Shushmita Shri Mukhena Vrajapuravanitānam Vardhayam Kamadevam. I mean, this is, then he quoted one prayer from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Um, Lord Krishna, Jayati is all glories, Jana Nivas. Lord Shri Krishna is he who is known as Jana Nivas, the ultimate resort of all living entities. Devaki Janmavadu, who is also known as Devaki Nandana or Yashoda Nandana, the son of Devaki and Yashoda. Yaduvara Parishad, he is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious. Adharma, Dorbir Ashyan Adharma, anything which is against um, um, dharma or people who are against dharma, with his mighty arm he killed them. As well as every man who is impious. By his presence, he destroyed all things inauspicious for all living entities, moving and inert. His blissful, smiling face. So there is smita. Smita means smile, and susmita is Shri Mukhena. So very blissfully smiling face. Susmita Shri Mukhena. Always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan, Kamadevam. May he be all glories and happy. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified. And when I was in Mayapur, I was taking this course on deity worship, getting trained in deity worship. Yeah, I mean, it was actually a 4-month course, but I only took one section of the course, which was specifically related to offering aratis, little bit of dressing, and those kind of things. So there I used to attend um, shloka classes. Anybody who wants to become a pujari, in that 4-month training, it was compulsory that you have to learn a certain shlokas, how you greet the Lord. So these are the shlokas that they taught for people who stayed there for 4 months. I was not there, but I used to recite, so I know these shlokas, but I didn't learn them. For if you are there for 4 months, you have to learn, and there is a shloka exams, and that is purposefully so that when you go in the altar and when you see the Lord, then how do you glorify them? And we basically follow the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he saw Lord Jagannath, he glorified them through these verses, and that's how it is recommended that devotees can learn these verses and glorify them. One is from Srimad Bhagavatam, one is from Mukunda Mala Stotra, and one is from Vishnu Puran. So he's quoting. And then this is word famous: Naham Vipro Nacha Narapati Napi Vaishya na Shudro Naham Varni Nacha Grihapati na Vanastho Yatirva Kintu Prodhyam Nikhila Paramananda Purna Amritabdhe Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasaha. I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya or a Shudra. Nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. So this verse actually compulsory for anyone who does deity worship. So there are many upadhis. Upadhis are material designations, which is according to Varna and Ashram. I am a brahmachari, I am a grihastha, I am a sannyasi, I am a brahmana, I am a kshatriya. So this takes away from us all the upadhis and then establish us as the servant of Krishna. So this is actually, it's called Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi means purifying our consciousness before we touch the Lord. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So we go in front of him and we are like, my Lord, this is who I am. I'm only your servant. I'm nobody else other than your servant. And thank you for allowing me with this opportunity to render you some personal service. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Bharatu. He is like a ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. Paramananda Purna Amritabdhe. So, ocean of nectar and cause of transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. Ete padi punarapi karila pranam yadaha te bhakta gana vande bhagavan. Having recited all these verses from scripture, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's showing by his own example. He saw the Lord, he paid dandavats, and then he got up, he saw the face of the Lord, he glorified the Lord through Naham Vipranacha Narpati Jayati Jayati Jana Nivaso and Namo Brahmana Devaya and from Srimad Bhagavatam. And then all the devotees followed him, they paid obeisances, they got up, they also recited prayers. Udanda Nitya Prabhu Kariya Hunkar Chakra Brahmi Brahme Yaiche Alata Akar. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand. And now there is a description of ecstatic dancing of the Lord. So first thing he did is he danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder. So he got up, he paid obeisances, and then he was brimming with the um, um, ecstasy, and then he jumped high and doing hunkar. Hunkar is like very loudly calling out to the Lord, like a madman, um, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel. Um, and he appeared like a circling firebrand. So those who know firebrand, this is one of the, like we call it chakarginni. Um, it's like chakri, fire. So it's in one direction, but because it rotates, it seems like the whole circle of fire. But naturally, fire is coming out only from one direction. But because it's rotating, it seems like. So fire is yellowish color, yellowish, golden color fire. So it seems like there is golden color of firebrand. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu complexion is golden color with effulgence. And then he jumped and he did hookah, and then he started rotating. And you see, following the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many devotees in their dance, they raise their hand and then they do circle. So this is coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the way he danced. And Prabhupada said this is also part of sannyasi step. One of the step is you go one step in forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. And another is raise their hand and do like a firebrand. So some devotees do it very fast. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did encircle so fast that it seems like a continuous golden yellow circle, so fast, like a firebrand. So very, very wonderful description of the Lord's dancing. नित्य प्रभुर यहाँ यहाँ पड़े पड़े पड़ा ताला सशागरा saila mahi kare tala mala. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood while dancing, the whole earth with its hills and seas appeared to tilt. So there was so much weight. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like the potency of Lord Chaitanya, so much weight. Then when he would step at one place, it seems like the whole earth has tilted. And then he would jump from there and he would jump at another place, and it seemed like the whole earth had tilted in this direction. So it was everybody was stuck with wonder, like, oh, what is happening here? So um, um, that's why this chapter is also description of Rath Yatra or Lord's dancing during the Rath Yatra. This is the main section of this chapter. स्तंभ श्वेद पुलक अश्रु कंपा वैवर्ण्य नाना भावे विवसता गर्व हर्षा दैन्य. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned. Sometimes the hair of his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, and changed color, and sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance, and humility. So these are called Ashtasattvic Vikar, and at different point of time, he was suddenly he would perspire, hair would stand on end, he would start crying, he would start trembling, shattering, his body would change colors. Sometimes he would become very proud looking at the Lord. Another time he'll become very humble. And then he would be like exuberance with enthusiasm. And sometimes he will feel like helplessness. So different transcendental symptoms in his body, and everybody was actually watching the Lord. Everybody. So what happened there? आचा खाना पड़े भूमे गड़ियाया सुवर्ण पर्वत यैचे भूमे तेलोताया. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down with a crash while dancing, he would roll on the ground. At such times, it appeared that a golden mountain was rolling on the ground because of the weight. It's not the physical weight, but the potency of Lord Chaitanya. So he would it's like he would jump high, step here, then step there, and then circle around like a chakarginni firebrand. And then he would jump high, and then he would crash right onto the ground. And he has his hand raised, and he is calling out to the Lord like this, and he is falling on the ground, and then he would start rolling into the ground like this, and it is like the whole mountain is rolling, mountain. So there is a pivot, and the mountain is rolling around, so like that he would lie on the ground, and then he would rotate. So it seems like a golden mountain was rolling on the ground. Nityananda Prabhu Dui Hata Prasadiya Prabhu Re Dharita Chahe Asha Pasha Dhana. Nityananda Prabhu would stretch out his two arms and try to catch the Lord when he was running here and there. And you see here, there is Nityananda Prabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in this particular picture. He is completely absorbed in his inner contemplation and inner ecstasies. And Nityananda Prabhu is focused only on the Lord, only on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is running there, and he's jumping this and crashing on the ground. And actually, when he would crash, it would intensely pain the heart of all his devotees, and they would feel anxiety, a lot of anxiety. What happened to the Lord? And so Nityananda Prabhu, in order to protect him, he would, wherever Mahaprabhu would run, he would try to run and embrace the Lord. And Mahaprabhu could not come into like completely like dancing widely. Prabhu pache bole acharya kariya hunkar hari bala hari bol bale bara bar. Advaita Acharya would walk behind the Lord and loudly chant Hari bol again and again. So Mahaprabhu is dancing in all different ways, left, right, up, jumping, falling on the ground, and like a circling fireman. Nitai is trying to catch hold of the Lord, and Advaita Acharya is increasing the Lord ecstasy, and he is running behind Nitai, and then he is chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yeah. So in this way, everybody is watching. All the kirtan teams, they came around, and there is the whole description of the Lord's dancing, and it goes on for some time. Loka nivarite haila tina mandala prathama mandale nityananda mahabala. Just to check the crowds from coming too near to the Lord, the devotees formed three circles. The first circle was guided by Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balaram himself, the possessor of great strength. So this is what happens even in our temples. Everything is coming from the principle set by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu was in complete ecstasy in dancing, and very heavy weight, and his dancing was like he has completely no control on himself in his divine ecstasies. So Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and they all made a circle, and they held hand to hand, because there are thousands and thousands of people in Rath Yatra, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the center, so Mahaprabhu's dance is not disturbed, and they can also hold the Lord um, safe. So they were trying that, and they were holding the crowds apart, and they actually form three circles: one inner circle, outer circle, and the further outer circle, and those circles are defined. And we see that in our temple also. We make a circle, and then one devotee jumps into the circle and he dances, and then he joins back the circle, another devotee jumps into the circle and he dances. So even if you're dancing like this or rotating, so the circle gives them space to dance freely, which is not possible if everyone is there at all time, but circles give them a space to dance. So that's what happened during Rath Yatra with Lord Chaitanya. काशीश्वर गोविंदादि यत भक्त गण हाथा हाथी करी हैला द्वितीय आवरण. All the devotees headed by Kashishwar Govinda linked hands and formed a second circle around the Lord. So Kashishwar Govinda, so Advaita, Nitai, they all first circle, and then the second circle Kashishwar Govinda, and then and many others. Just some names are given, some prominent names, and then the third circle. बाहिरे प्रताप रुद्र लना पात्रगण मंडल हाना करे loka nivarana. Maharaj Pratap Rudra and his personal associate assistants formed a third circle around the two inner circles, just to check the crowds from coming too near. So Kashishwar and Govinda, second circle, Nitai, first circle, and the third circle is Maharaj Pratap Rudra, the king, and his associates, and they are all, and everybody from there. And if you see here, if you see in the picture, there are circles, and behind that everybody is watching at the Lord, and there are people who are standing on the rath, if you see behind, and they are climbing up the pillars, and they are trying to get a glimpse of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing was such graceful, ecstatic, exuberant, and um, the symptoms of ecstasies. The dancing was such that everybody is trying to get a glimpse of the Lord. It is very natural. When somebody dances with such enthusiasm, naturally everybody wants to look. Um, our temple, Yuval Vishwaprabhu dances in very exuberant way, and naturally when he dances, we all make a circle. हरिचंदने रसकंधे हस्त आलंबिया प्रभुरा नित्य देखी राजा आविष्टाहाना. With his hands on the shoulders of Harichandan, King Pratap Rudra could see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, and the king felt great ecstasy. So everybody is trying to get a glimpse of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there was a servant of Maharaj King Pratap Rudra. His name was Harichandan. So Pratap Rudra Maharaj put his hand on the shoulders of Harichandan, and he was also trying to watch the Lord, and he felt great ecstasy. हेना काले श्रीनिवासा प्रेमा विष्टांबना राजा रा आगे रही देखे प्रभुरा नर्तना. While the king beheld the dancing, Shivas Thakur standing in front of him became ecstatic as he saw the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Um, so um, so there is second circle. In the second circle, there is Shivas Thakur, and then third circle is Maharaj Pratap Rudra and Harichandra. So Shivas Thakur is trying to watch the Lord's dancing, and behind him, Maharaj Pratap Rudra and Harichandan, or everyone is trying to see the dancing of the Lord. And Shivas Thakur was in ecstasy. Now this he is like, the one of the closest associate of the Lord, in great ecstasy seeing the Lord. राजा रा आगे हरि चंदन देखे श्रीनिवासा हस्ते तान स्पर्शी कहे how eka pasha. Seeing Shivas Thakur standing before the king, Hari Chandan touched Shivas with his hand and requested him to step aside. So in front of Maharaj Pratap Rudra was Shivas Thakur, and Maharaj Pratap Rudra was trying to look around Shivas Thakur to see Lord Chaitanya. And Shivas Thakur is also in ecstasy, so he's moving here and there. So Harichandra, naturally being a servant of Maharaj Pratap Rudra, he wanted Maharaj Pratap Rudra to get a good vision. So he told Shivas Thakur, he doesn't know who is Shivas Thakur, how exalted Shivas Thakur. So he told Shivas Thakur, leave, hato yahan se, like, bhago yahan se, let the king see the dance of Lord Chaitanya. So he's trying to kind of disturb Shivas Thakur's ecstasies. Um, नित्यवासी श्रीनिवासा किछुई ना जाने बारह बारह थेले तेन हो क्रोधा हाइला माने. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand why he was being touched and pushed. After he was pushed again and again, he became angry. So Harichandan was like, immature man. So he is like, this is Srivas Thakur and he's pushing Srivas Thakur. Hato, hato. And when Srivas Thakur is in great ecstasy, so he's completely absorbed, and he would again hold Shivas Thakur and push him aside. And then again Shivas Thakur would ignore, and then he would see Lord Chaitanya. Again he would take Shivas Thakur and push him aside. So Shivas Thakur became angry, like he was disturbing his ecstasies of serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just by seeing. Um, झापड़ मारिया तारे कैला निवारणा झापड़ा khana क्रुद्ध hoile Harichandana. Shivas Thakur, he turned the light and he slapped Harichandana to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Harichandan angry. So he was pushing him again and again. Shivas Thakur looked back and then he saw Harichandan was pushing again and again, and he gave him a slap on his face. And Harichandan is like the son of a king. So he became mad. He's like, how dare you? And he's immature, so he doesn't know. So he wanted to retaliate to Shivas Thakur out of anger, because there is natural pride, that I'm in great material position, and he doesn't understand the position of Shivas Thakur. क्रुद्धाहान्ना ताने किछु चाहे बाली बारे apane pratap rudra nivarila tare. As he angered Harichandan was about to speak to Shivas Thakur, Pratap Rudra Maharaj personally stopped him. So Harichandan was angry and he wanted to scold verbally, blaspheme Shivas Thakur, and Maharaj Pratap Rudra told him, Shantaro, stop. So, and Shivas Thakur doesn't know, because he slapped him and then he looked and he is completely absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in great ecstasy. But Pratap Rudra is telling something here. This is very important verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. भाग्यवान तुम्ही इहार हस्ते स्पर्श पाइला आमारा भाग्य नाही तुम्ही कृतार्थ हाइला. King Pratap Rudra said, you are very fortunate, Bhagyavan Tumi, for you have been graced by the touch of Shivas Thakur. I am not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to him. Kritartha Hoila. So, and this is the um, the consciousness of Shivas, of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. I mean, Maharaj Pratap Rudra has all the good qualities found in a pure devotee, being a pure devotee himself. Like his qualities are excellent. So he told, you should be grateful that you have been touched by the hand of a devotee like Srivas. You should be grateful for that. Um, you are so fortunate. I am not so fortunate. Um, and that's why I was not touched like that. And this is seen in many circumstances in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. There is one particular instance um, um, where there is Nityananda Prabhu, and he was going with um, all the devotees from Bengal to Jagannath Puri from Bengal. And on the way, Shivananda Sen was the in charge of the party, and Shivananda Sen could not arrange, or he didn't arrange because he was taking care of everyone at all point of time. So it just slipped his mind and he didn't arrange the living quarter for Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu asked for his living quarter and there was none. So um, uh, Nityananda Prabhu became angry and he kicked Shivananda Sen on his chest. And Shivananda Sen became ecstatic and he started glorifying Lord Nityananda Prabhu that I am so fortunate that I have received the dust from the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. So this is seen in when one has genuine humility and when one heart is filled with devotion and gratitude, then that's how one react to any mercy received from pure devotees. So very beautiful consciousness of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. He says, Bhagyavan Tumi. प्रभुर नित्य देखी लोके हैला चमत्कार अन्य आचुक जगन्नाथेरा आनंद अपार. Everyone was astonished by the dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Lord Jagannath became extremely happy to see him. So there is little more discussion of the dance. Um, रथ स्थिरा कैला आगे ना करे गमना Animisha Nitre Kare Nitya Darshana. The car came to a complete standstill and remained immobile while Lord Jagannath, with unblinking eyes, watched the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And dancing was so ecstatic in front of the Lord that at this point of time, Jagannath stopped the cart. And we saw last week how the cart moves only by the will of the Lord. So he stopped the cart so that he can completely focus on the dancing of Lord Chaitanya. And there is some deeper description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya. So everything is stopped now, kind of the Rath. And we see that even when we do Novai Rath Yatra, many times the cart stops and all the devotees get together, because when you are walking and dancing it's difficult, but then you cannot be fully free because you are dancing and then suddenly there is a push to move, push to move, push to move, so you have to keep walking. But if it is standstill, if the rath, then you can be in your full force dance. So likewise Jagannath desired just to watch the dancing of Lord Chaitanya, so he brought the cart to rest and he is watching. सुभद्रा बलराम मेरा हृदय उल्लास नित्य देखी दुई जनर श्रीमुखे ते हास. The goddess of fortune, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram both felt great happiness and ecstasy within their hearts. Indeed, they were seen smiling at the dancing. So, Balaram and Subhadra, they all the three stopped and they were also watching at Lord Chaitanya, and they were apparently very happy. And actually, one way to please the Lord is by chanting and dancing in front of them. And my personal experience is, I mean, if you come to morning programs regularly, you will experience that Gopijana Vallabha and Shrimati Radharani has one expression after the dressing, and then after Guru Puja and 25 minutes of Kirtan, half an hour of Kirtan, and then you see their expression changes. They apparently seems more happier when they see all the devotees coming together and glorifying them with instruments, chanting, Kirtan, dancing. um, so you can visibly see the changes in their expression. So it's apparently very obvious that they like chanting and dancing of devotees to see. So it is mentioned here that by Krishna's Kavidas Goswami that Subhadra and Baladev, they started smiling when they saw the dancing of Lord Chaitanya. उदंड नित्य प्रभुरा अद्भुत विकार अष्टसात्विक भाव उदय haya samakala. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, eight wonderful transformations indicative of divine ecstasy were seen in his body. All these symptoms were visible simultaneously. So um, again, Mahaprabhu's description of dancing, all the Sattvic Vikar. Now this is very intense. Um, his skin erupted with goosebumps, and the hair of his body stood on end, and his body resembled the simile, silk cotton tree, all covered with thorns. So if you see this tree, this is actually silk cotton tree, and this tree has thorn all over her body. So it is described the ecstasy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very, very intense ecstasy. That all the hairs of the body of Mahaprabhu, the hair, they stood like thorns, and his body. So this tree also has little bit creamish, with thorns all over, the blackish hairs. So this is the description how his body looked like, um, thorns all over his body, which is actually hairs standing on end. And naturally, what will happen? Eka eka dantera kampa dekite lage bhaya loke jana danta sabha khashiya padaya. Indeed, the people became afraid just to see his teeth chatter. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstasy, he was like, his hairs were standing on end, and his hair, so like this, he was chattering so intensely, and they even thought that his teeth would fall out. Um, they even thought that his teeth would fall out. So in that way, the description of um, um, mm, um, his hairs and then his chattering, and everybody was afraid. Like the devotees of Lord Chaitanya were very much in anxiety when they see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstasy, because um, it would pain their heart to see the Lord in such a condition, in ecstasies. Sarvange prash veda chute tate raktodgama jajagaga jajagaga gadgada vachana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's whole body flowed with perspiration and at the same time oozed blood. He made the sounds jajagaga in a voice choked with ecstasy. And Mahaprabhu's ecstasy, I mean, these are very intense ecstasies, and they go to next level in Antya Leela. And it is described that Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that the amount of ecstasies, the kind of ecstasy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited in his Mahabhav, could not be, cannot be exhibited by any living entity, because this is the mood of Shrimati Radharani, and Shrimati Radharani's mood is only Shrimati Radharani can exhibit. And when Lord Krishna told Shrimati Radharani that I am going down to experience your love for me, then Shrimati Radharani said that I can allow you to go down only in one condition, that I will cover your body, because I cannot see you how you will behave. I cannot see your body getting pained, so I want to cover your body to protect you. And she told Lord Krishna, and that's what the complexion golden is, Srimati Radharani's complexion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his hair stood on end, chattering, and then he is making these sound. He is not able to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna also. So chanting is going on. Sarup Damodar, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita, Advaita is chanting Hari Bol, all are following, leading Mridanga, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely in his inner absorption. And he went into such a state of ecstasy that because the hairs were like thorns standing, when he was lying down, same thorns were picking his body, and from his bodily pores, blood was coming out, and he was his mouth was jajagaga, and he was chattering his teeth. So this is like unimagined, like cannot be imagined, these kind of ecstasies. जलयंत्र धारयैछे वह यशु जला आशा पाशे lokayata bhijila shakala. Tears came forcefully from the eyes of the Lord as if from a syringe. So it's called jalayantra. Jalayantra means the machine to spring the water out like a syringe. So tears forcefully gushed from his eyes like a syringe, and all the people surrounding him became wet. So the tears came like syringe of water, and it was falling on others, and they were becoming wet by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely in his Mahabhav, in the mood. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually will speak also after some time, and that will reveal Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's inner mood also. So देहा कांति गौरा वर्णा देखिए अरुणा कबो कांति देखिए ना मल्लिका पुष्प समा. Everyone saw the complexion of his body change from white to pink, so that his luster resembled that of the mallika flower. So this is the example for mallika flower. So from golden, his body color changed to pink. That is one of the symptom of ecstasy, change of bodily color. When the Lord fell to the ground, sometimes his breathing almost stopped. When the devotees saw this, their lives also became very feeble. Hare Krishna. Just 10 more minutes and then I'll come. Okay. So when the Lord fell to the ground, sometimes his breathing almost stopped. When the devotees saw this, their lives became very feeble. So he was in his ecstasy. Jaja Gaga, these sounds were coming out. Blood was oozing out from his body. Um, Tears were coming out like a syringe. And then so in this way he was intensely trying to breathe, and his breath was getting choked. He was not able to breathe. So in this way Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes the glimpse of the ecstasies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and what will be the condition when people are watching the Lord. Cannot be imagined. When Maharaj Pratap Rudra is watching, when everybody is watching naturally, and when devotees saw that he is not able to breathe, their life became very, like, they were about to live their life out of the fear and anxiety just by seeing the Lord. Every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, like we will see in Antya Leela, it is a very, very deep pastimes of Antya Leela. Every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is missing from his room Gambhira, devotees will become scared. Like they were living in such intense fear because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hurt himself in his ecstasies so deeply that devotees cannot see that. Um, if Mahaprabhu is missing, it's like a terror, and everybody is running behind. Find Lord Chaitanya, find Lord Chaitanya, find Lord Chaitanya. Um, and that's where even at the end, Advaita Acharya said, "My Lord, time has come for you to end your pastimes on the earthly planet. There are no more people who have not received Krishna Prema. Everybody has received your mercy. There is no buyers for the rice. Rice is there, but nobody is there to buy the rice. So I think there is no need." And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed from this world. So when he almost choked from breathing, it gave such terror in the devotees. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had performed his devastating dance for some time, his mind entered into the mood of ecstatic love. So after exhibiting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became little sober. And then he went into, this is very, very beautiful description. Maybe 10 more minutes we can discuss. His mind entered into ecstatic love. Um, and we will see, like, completely lost. After abandoning the dancing, he became sober. He stopped dancing. The Lord came to his senses, and he ordered Sarup Damodar to sing. And he showed Sarup Damodar, you sing. Understanding his mind, Sarup Damodar began to sing as follows. And this is now Sarup Damodar is not actually singing specifically the Mahamantra in this Kirtan at this point of time. Sarup Damodar was very expert. He would sing according to the mood of Lord Chaitanya. And he knows the mind of Lord Chaitanya because he is Lalita Sakhi. And Srimati Radharani does not do anything without taking permission from Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi knows everything about Radharani. So, in order, and how Sarup Damodar will work is he would sing to increase the ecstasies of Lord Chaitanya. He would sing accordingly. So this is a song sung by Sarup Damodar. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. This song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra, where Lord Sri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit when there was a solar eclipse. So we know Lord Krishna left Vrindavan when he was between 10 and 11 years old. And then Srimati Radharani was burned by Cupid, or the love for the Lord. And then after many years, when Krishna came with Balaram to Kurukshetra and Radharani came there, and that's when she sang this song. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in this mood of uh, Radha Bhav, or Radharani meeting with Krishna again in Kurukshetra. And this would, he was absorbed in this consciousness. Sarup Damodar Goswami knew the internal mood of Lord Chaitanya, so he started singing this song to enhance the ecstasies of Lord Chaitanya. So everybody, all the devotees, they would, like especially Sarup Damodar Goswami, he would act in such a way exactly according to the mood of Lord Chaitanya to enhance his ecstasies. And Radharani says, now I have gained the Lord of my life. This is when she came to Kurukshetra and he saw Krishna. He could not meet Krishna because Krishna was talking to Mother Yashoda, Nanda, and all the friends were crowded. And all the gopis, Srimati Radha, and they were watching at Krishna. So she says, now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. Um, and actually, the ecstasies that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibits in separation from Lord Krishna. Similar ecstasies Srimati Radharani exhibits when she is separated from Lord Krishna. And this Leela of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually displaying us or speaking to us the pastimes of Golok Vrindavan and the love there and the separation there and the feeling there. And that's what um, is most prevalent in Vrindavan. When this refrain was loudly sung by Sarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began rhythmically dancing in transcendental bliss. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely absorbed, and Sarup Damodar Goswami started singing this. Now I have met the Lord of my life again, and with instruments. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like very slowly, soberly, he is dancing with the rhythm of the song sung by Sarup Damodar. Completely absorbed in that mood. धीरे धीरे जगन्नाथ करे ना गमना आगे नित्य करी चले ना सचिरानंदना. The car of Lord Jagannath began to move slowly while the son of Mother Sachi went ahead and danced in front. So now Jagannath again started to walk. So Jagannath stopped, the cart stopped, intense exhibit of ecstasies, and then he rhythmically started dancing on the song of Sarup Damodar, and then he started walking, and Jagannath started walking. So Sachi, mother, the son of Sachi went ahead and danced in front. So it's like he is walking ahead and Jagannath is following, and he is looking at Jagannath, and he's walking behind, and Jagannath is following him. Jagannathe नेत्र दिया सबे नाचे गाए कीर्तनिया साहा प्रभु पाछे पाछे आए. While dancing and singing, all the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath kept their eyes on him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the end of the procession with the Sankirtan performance. So everybody was chanting, was dancing and singing. All the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath kept their eyes on him. Jagannathe Netre Diya. So how they were walking, as we have seen in the Rath Yatra, they were walking opposite, like on their back. They were walking and they were looking at Jagannath and they were walking. And Jagannath is looking all of them and he was coming ahead and devotees are going back. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took all the Sankirtan party and he went to the end of the procession to perform Sankirtan. So they were running here and there. Okay, so his eyes and mind fully absorbed in Lord Jagannath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to play the drama of the song with his two arms. So Sarup Damodar is singing. He is singing the verses that Radharani felt and spoke. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like a mime without a sound, and he is rhythmically dancing, but he is basically acting in her way with her hands and gestures um, and his body. He was acting like a drama on the song of Sarup Damodar, completely absorbed in great ecstasy while looking at Lord Jagannath. Very beautiful, sweet description. गौरा यदि पाछे चले श्यामा है स्थिरे गौरा आगे चले श्यामा चले धीरे धीरे वेरी ब्यूटीफुल गौरा यदि पाछे चले श्यामा है स्थिरे गौरा आगे चले श्यामा चले धीरे धीरे गौरा यदि पाछे चले if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go behind Jagannath Shama haya sthire here Shama is referred to Jagannath will stop so Gaura aage chale Shama chale dheere dheere. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would play hide and seek with Lord Jagannath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go behind Jagannath, and the whole Rath would stop. And Jagannath is Krishna, and he wants to look at Srimati Radharani, who is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he cannot see Lord Chaitanya, he would stop. He is looking everywhere. Where is Srimati Radharani? And then he is also emphasizing okay, it will come in the next slide. And then he is looking, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not visible. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in complete absorption. And while dancing rhythmically on the song of Sarup Damodar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come in the front, dancing and performing drama. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would see Srimati, and when Lord Krishna would see Srimati Radharani, he would smile, and then he would again started walking slowly, slowly. And then again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go back in his ecstatic dancing, and then again Krishna would start searching for her. And then he would come back and again he would start walking. So only the those who have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, mercy of Lord Jagannath, could actually understand the pastimes that were going on between Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was very, very personal. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dramatically enacting the song, he would sometimes fall behind in the procession. He was so absorbed in the song, and then he would just and Rath is moving, and then he would be absorbed in enacting, and he would fall behind. He would go back. At such times, Lord Jagannath would come to a standstill, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again went forward, Lord Jagannath's cart would slowly start again. Um, um, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was feeling that intense separation. So when he would realize that I am not able to see my Lord again, and then he would immediately run in the front to get a darshan, and they will contact the eyes. Uh, um, and then the Lord would start walking again. Ei Mata Gaura Shame Dohe Thela Theli Swarathe Shamera Rakhe Gaura Mahabali. Thus, there was a sort of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in seeing who would lead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Lord Jagannath wait in his car. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leading Lord Jagannath toward the Gundicha temple, correspond to Srimati Radharani leading Krishna toward Vrindavan. And we know there's a mood of Jagannath was going ahead, and this is Srimati Radharani taking Krishna to Vrindavan. Um, and Gundicha is referred to Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri temple is Kurukshetra or Dwarka. So they are taking him there. In the role of Srimati Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining whether the Lord still remembered the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So there were many exchanges of letters between Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. When Krishna left, he was in Mathura and he was in Dwarka. And then Uddhav came with a messenger from Krishna. And Uddhav spoke many things like he is the Lord of the universe, he is in everyone's heart, he's everywhere. So there is no need to cry for him because he's there in our heart and he's there with us. He gave very philosophical aspect Uddhav told to all the Vrajvasis. But they don't want to hear all this popular aspect of Krishna. But when Uddhav said that Krishna is crying in separation from you every single day, that gave them a lot of solace. And there is a song sung given Uddhav was there, a song sung by Srimati Radharani which is called Brahmar Geet, where Radharani chastises a bumblebee, uh, that you go from place to place and you are not loyal. You are not loyal. We gave our life to you. We surrendered everything to you, body, mind, and soul. And then we were in so much love with you, and you left us. Uh, so, uh, like a bumblebee takes the nectar from a flower, and without gratitude goes to another flower, takes the nectar from that flower and goes to another flower. So just taking nectar, 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 and keep going from one flower to another. Likewise, Lord Krishna, he was with all of them, and then he just left all of them, and then he went to Dwarka, and now he is with the Dwarka Vasis. So in that way, but all the Vrajvasis wanted to hear is, has Krishna forgotten us, or does Krishna still remember us? Does he still remember us? So this is particular pastime happening. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is explaining. This is actually a commentary by Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada calls Saraswati Thakur in the purport. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go behind Jagannath, so this is Radharani wanted to see, does Krishna remember me, remember us, the residents of Vrindavan, or did he forget us? So then Jagannath would stop, signifying that where are you, the Vrajvasis? And then when he would come, then he would smile and he would walk again. So this gave him solace. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani um, um, was testing Lord Jagannath. So in the role of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining whether the Lord still remembered the inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell behind the Rath car, Jagannath Dev, Krishna himself understood the mind of Srimati Radharani. And Jagannath also knows that he is trying to see, she is trying to see if I remember them. Of course, I remember them. And he will stop the car. So these are inner interactions that are going on between completely absorbed. Sarup Damodar is singing the verses, the mood of Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely absorbed in that mood, and Jagannath is Lord Krishna. And there was so much conversation going on between them, and competition going on. Who would lead? And always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would lead. When he was in front, then only the cart would move. When he was not visible, the cart would stop. Um, Only pure devotees like Sarup Damodar understood what is going on. Rupa Goswami could understand. Maharaj Pratap could understand, because um, by Lord's mercy only one can understand the mind of the Lord. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur wrote so many commentaries on 10th Canto Bhagavatam, and he also describes a conversation that is going on, and what is going on in the mind of the Lord, the interaction. So pure devotees can understand these things. That's why Prabhupada said we should hear Krishna Katha from the lips of pure devotees who have realized it. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, his ecstasy changed. Raising his two arms, he began to recite the following verse in a loud voice. So this is again one of the very, very commonly quoted verse. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of the Lord. He raised his arms and he recited this verse. This verse is basically again the mood of Srimati Radharani um, in Kurukshetra. Um, There is a nice Sanskrit, but I have just kept the English here. That very personality, this is Radharani speaking to, or Radharani thinking when she was in Kurukshetra. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. In a way, I have seen Krishna again, who is my master, who stole my heart in my youth. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. So same month of Chaitra and night time. The same fragrance of Malati flowers is there. So in Vrindavan, there's Malati flower. In Kurukshetra, where they met, there was Malati flower. So she's telling, you are the same master. I am the same, whose heart you stole. And there's the same fragrance of Malati flower, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest, and there were Kadamba trees. So Kadamba trees have very beautiful fragrance. So Radhani is telling that I can, and the breeze, the wind, when it carries through Kadamba trees, it carries the fragrance of Kadamba trees. So it is the same breeze from the Kadamba forest and mixed with the scent from Malati flowers. And the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, and I am the same. Kadamba is there, Malati is there. The night is the same. The beautiful moon is there. You are my master who is there, and I am your lover. I am there. Everything is the same. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy, but I'm not feeling the same. Everything seems to be the same, but I don't feel the same like I used to feel earlier. I'm eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vetasi tree. Reva refers to Yamuna. So Radharani is missing Yamuna. And Yamuna is also the expansion of Vishaka. So she's telling, I'm eager to go back to the bank of Reva under the Vetasi tree. So there is a desire tree. Uh, Under that desire tree, Radha and Krishna meets. And if you see, if you have come to a Radha Gopajana Vallabha temple, obviously, then outside there is Krishna with Ashtasakhis and Shrimati Radharani, the donor board. And you see there is a tree. That tree is actually Madhavendra Puri, the grand spiritual master of uh, uh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came to, and he is the one who began the worship um, in ecstatic love. It began from Madhavendra Puri. Um, and and that tree is very dear to the Lord and his devotees, and they meet every day under that tree in the moonlit night. So Radharani is telling, Malati is there, Kadamba is there, I am there, you are there, but I don't feel the same, because where is that tree on the bank of Yamuna, and that Vrindavan, and that I am missing. So that is my desire. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling to Lord Jagannath, or Radharani telling to Krishna, same mood. And from here we take what should be our mood in when we attend Rath Yatra festivals. Is we are assisting Srimati Radharani to bring Krishna to Vrindavan. That is our mood. Um, so Radharani is saying, I'm eager to go back to Vrindavan. Um, ए श्लोका महाप्रभु पढ़े बार बार स्वरूप विन अर्थ के ना जाने इहा. This verse was recited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. But for Swarup Damodar, no one could understand its meaning. So this is all actually prayers and verses going on. Everyone was hearing. Nobody, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in deep ecstasy, he is again and again pleading to Lord Jagannath, my desire is to go back to that place again. My desire is to go back to that place again. My desire is to go back that place again. And Sarup Damodar understood what is Mahaprabhu's request to Lord Jagannath. But not everybody could understand. And we will see later on that Rupa Goswami understood. Yes. Okay. So that's all I had prepared for today. And we will see if there are any discussion. Otherwise, we discuss the remaining part of Rath Yatra the next week. Are there any discussions, questions? Okay. If there are no discussions, then we can end our discussion here. My obeisances to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhuve evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnavendra ki jai. Shri. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad. Thank you.